It started with a wedding. A beautiful wedding in the heart of Owerri. The kind that left neighbors talking for weeks. Amuche danced like the world belonged to her, wrapped in the arms of Obinna, her prince. They looked perfect, too perfect. The sun smiled on their union, and even the sky that they refused to rain. Obinna was every woman's dream. Tall, intelligent, ambitious, and charming with a smile that disarmed the worst of hearts. He ran a thriving tech business and carried himself like royalty. But beneath that polished exterior was a heart crafted from secrets. Amuche, on the other hand, was the kind of woman whose presence turned heads. Beautiful, smart, God-fearing, and loyal to the core. She left her job in Port Harcourt just to support Obinna's growing empire in Owerri. For the first year, everything felt like a fairy tale. Laughter echoed in their home. Friends admired them. Amuche would wake up every morning and pray with Obinna, cook his favorite meals, and handle parts of his business like it was her own. She was not just a wife, she was a backbone. But something changed after the second year. It began with the phone calls, unfamiliar female names saved as cousin or landlady. Obinna would step out to take them, and come back smelling of unfamiliar perfumes. Amuche noticed, but said nothing. At first, she blamed the pressure from work, from running a business, from the stress of expectations. Until the lies became louder than the love. Obinna stopped coming home some nights. When he did, he brought silence with him. No explanation. No warmth. Amuche would sit alone on the couch, waiting for answers that never came. One evening, while Obinna was in the shower, Amuche picked up his phone. Her hands trembled as she opened the gallery. What she saw broke her. There were pictures, too many, of Obinna and another woman. A fair-skinned beauty named Ugochi. The captions told the whole story: my peace, my queen, forever mine. Pictures taken on weekends he claimed to be out of town on business. In hotel rooms. At dinners. In bed. Amuche's heart didn't break, it shattered. But she didn't scream. She didn't cry. She simply returned the phone to where she found it and sat in silence. When Obinna came out, she smiled at him. From that night, something in Amuche changed. She became quieter, more calculated. Her meals remained delicious, her chores done with perfection, her kisses still sweet, but her heart had turned cold. She began to gather evidence. Every message. Every transaction. Every lie. Obinna didn't suspect a thing. He continued to lie, even as he made plans to marry Ugochi in secret. A traditional wedding in Enugu, hidden from the world. He told his friends Amuche would soon leave, claiming she was barren, difficult, and emotionally unstable. Stories he crafted to justify his betrayal. But Amuche heard everything. One of Obinna's closest friends, Chisholm, had always admired her and couldn't stand what Obinna was doing. Chisholm leaked everything to her. 3 months later, Obinna came home one evening and met a candlelit dinner. Amuche, in a red wrapper, looking more beautiful than he'd seen her in months. She served him sole soup and pounded yam, his favorite. They laughed like old times. He ate with reckless abandon, licking his fingers, praising her cooking. She fed him with her hands, giggling softly. When he finished, he leaned back, satisfied. "This is the Amuche I married," he said, smiling. She looked at him, eyes calm. "I know," she whispered. "But she died a long time ago." His smile faded. "What do you mean?" Amuche rose and walked slowly to their bedroom, returning with an envelope. These are your bank statements, the hotel receipts, pictures of you and Ugochi. Here's a recording of you telling your friends I'm barren. Her voice didn't shake. Obinna, I am pregnant. 2 months. And you have poisoned our love. Obinna jumped up, stunned. You're pregnant? Yes, she replied. But it's not something you deserve to celebrate. He tried to speak, but his legs gave way. Sweat broke out on his forehead. He began to gasp. What did you put in the food? He choked, grabbing his throat. Amuche stood, calm, her face unreadable. Don't worry, it's not poison. It's a truth serum. But it doesn't work on liars like you. He collapsed on the floor, shaking. Amuche knelt beside him and whispered into his ears. I won't kill you, Obinna. That would be too easy. I want you to live and watch me rise, watch me raise the child you wanted to throw away, watch me become everything you never appreciated. She stood and walked out of the house. Just like that. Months passed. Obinna survived, but he lost everything. His reputation, his business, gone. Ugochi. She vanished when the truth came out, especially when she found out she was just one of many. Obinna tried to reach Amuche, but she changed her number, blocked him everywhere. Amuche had relocated to Abuja. She opened her own business and thrived. She gave birth to a healthy baby girl whom she named Uren, mother's pride. The love she once poured into Obinna, she now gave her daughter. And every time someone asked why she left her husband, Amuche would smile and say, because when love turns to poison, you don't drink it. You spit it out. And the world nodded. Because her story wasn't just about betrayal, it was about strength, about survival, about a woman who chose herself when love failed her. And in that choice, she found peace. Obinna died in his sleep 6 months later. Autopsy revealed chronic organ failure. Some whispered it was karma. The world saw Amuche's tears and called them love. But they were the final drops of the poison she had bottled for too long. Years later, she would tell her story in whispers, in pieces, to women like her. And each time, she would say just one thing. Sometimes, the worst poison is loving the wrong person too much.